Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. In this crazy times of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, I wish everybody is staying safe, staying vigilant on not spreading the virus, and trying to keep our sanity while we're locked up at home here. So what I'm going to share with you today is what I do to pass the time is make some homemade bread. And this is a pretty basic and simple recipe that I've been utilizing over the last number of months, and I wanted to share it with you. Very simple. We have an all-purpose flour from Costco, some active dry yeast, some sea salt, we'll have some water, and a mixer. That's pretty much it. It's very basic. The good thing about the Canadian all-purpose flour is that it's actually quite strong relative to American and or European, especially where I've seen some French and Italian. They actually have way more variety of flours, pizza dough and harder flours. The Canadian version of wheat, we have like 9 classifications in the West, so like 6 in the East. We have so many different versions, and that's what makes our all-purpose flour so unique. It's actually quite strong. It's got 12% protein, which is on the high side for an all-purpose flour, but on the low side for like a bread flour. So let's get to it. It's very simple. I don't have to get much dirty. I've got the stand mixer here. I'm just going to utilize my digital scale. And my recipe calls for 900 grams, and I do everything by weight. So a couple of, I think it's about 4 or 5 cups of flour. Each cup of flour is about 120 grams. So you can do your math that way. Again, 900 grams, and I use ratios. Ratios meaning a percentage based on the amount of flour that you use. So it's very scalable. If you don't want to make a bread of 900 grams, you want to do of 600 grams. Again, it's very simple to scale it. So we're getting here up close to 900, and just keep adding until we get there. 900, perfect. There we go. So very simple, 900 grams. Dough hook. And the beauty of it is very simple. Again, I use just a little measuring cup, zero out my scale. Again, 2% of salt, 1% of yeast, so 1% is 9 grams. There we are, 9%, 9 grams of yeast, which is 1%. Again, zero out, make sure it's at 0. We're going to utilize 18 grams of sea salt. You can go all the way up to 24, but I find that 18 grams works for me. And again, zero out the big cup. And I'm going to use 530 grams, again 70% hydration. So water is going to be 70% of the flour amount. So I'm using warm tap water. If you have filtered water or you have bottled water, you can use anything. So again, 530 and 511. Just need to add a few more grams. With the digital scale, it helps you keep everything exact. And again, a little too much. Perfect. 530 on the nose. Again, put everything in, and you notice it's very simple. Lock it in and put it on low, and let the mixer do the work for you. As you can see, it's just gonna incorporate all the ingredients. I haven't proofed the yeast, I haven't put it in with everything all in one pot, all at once. And let it build up, and then once it's incorporated most, I'll pick up the speed and knead it for about 10 minutes. And then I'll set it aside in a stainless steel bowl and cover it with some saran wrap. And then we'll let it rise for an hour to 2 hours, depending on the ambient temperature. I'm just going to leave it here on the counter, and it'll double in about an hour to an hour and a half. And then I'll fold it, and I'll show you that. It's very simple. You don't have to do a lot of work to this, but you do want to fold it. And the reason why you want to fold it is you want to build up some of the strength, the gluten in the dough, and that's what's going to give you the nice crunch and the nice texture of the bread. So it's starting to grab everything, and I'm going to pick up the speed here as it continues to mix. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to let it mix up, and we can start putting things away. And there's not much to it other than this, and patience, allowing it to rise, fold, and then we're going to bake. And what I'm going to use to bake is a cast iron Dutch oven. I'm going to be putting it all into the Dutch oven, and we're going to bake it at 450 degrees for about half hour covered, and then we will cook it for another 20 minutes uncovered. And you'll see all this as we continue to build up our dough, and we'll come back once we've finished kneading it, again, about 10 minutes. Let the machine do the work for you. Of course, you can do it by hand if you so choose, but lucky enough, I've got the stand mixer to do the work for me. So we'll be right back. Once it's done, I'm going to pick up the speed here, and we'll see you once it's been totally kneaded. After about 10 minutes of kneading, it's pretty much done. So we take the dough hook out. Very simple. Comes up out very easily. You see, it's very simple. You can knead it by hand if you want. You don't really need to. And you fold it into itself just to give it a nice shape, but not necessary. Clean, unoiled stainless steel bowl, plop it in, grab the cellophane, we're going to cover it, and that's it. We're going to let it rise, give it time to rise. Again, should double in about an hour to an hour and a half, at most 2 hours, and we'll come back and we'll show you how to fold it. Very simple. You don't have to oil up your hands, you don't have to do anything. And paper's not working for me. There we go. Oh, that's better. And we're just going to set it aside here and let it rise, and we'll come back. After an hour or so, we have the dough has doubled in size, as you can see. So there's not much that needs to be done. What typically I do is just grab it off to the side here, stretch it out, and fold it into itself. Stretch and fold. Stretch and fold. You can see it's just stretch and fold. stretch, and fold. Stretch, fold. See, just continue that. Take it out, flip it on its other side. You folded it a few times. Again, now you let it rest one more time. Do another one of these folds. And we start to prepare the oven. So again, we stretched and folded it. Not too much work. Hands are very clean. Doesn't stick. Let it rise again. And we'll come back again in an hour. Well, welcome back. This is after another hour of the second rise. Again, you can see it's doubled up and gotten a little bit softer. And again, we separate it around the sides here. Just make sure it unattaches from the side. And again, pull and fold. Stretch and fold. Stretch and fold. Stretch and fold. Now, the reason why you want to do this stretch and fold is that it helps build up the strength, the gluten of the dough, and allows it to build a good crust once you're able to bake it. And again, we cover it. Hi there, we're back. So this has been about another, I would say, half hour to 40 minutes. The dough has risen once again, and we're going to now transfer it without folding and keep the dough as risen as possible into the floured tea towel. I'm going to get the flour again, and we're going to dust the top of the dough. Generous portion of flour, and this flour is actually going to give the dough, the bread, once it's baked, its characteristic texture and color. So very simply, cover the dough, and we're going to keep an eye on the oven. So once it's nicely covered inside here, we're going to start cleaning up the kitchen. Continue to do that, keep it clean. So the oven is still warming up. It has not reached 450. So once it reaches 450, we'll come back, transfer the dough into the Dutch oven, and we'll start the baking process. So we'll see you once the oven is up to temperature. See you soon. Hi there, I'm back, and the oven has now come up to temperature. It's been another 20 minutes to half hour. So it took good 45-50 minutes for the oven in total time to warm up. So I'm going to get the cast iron Dutch oven. So it's extremely hot. Prepare the dough. There's a bit of texture here. So the flour allows it to release. We drop it in. So I have here a knife that I sharpened off screen. And we're going to score the bread. And you want your knife to be sharp. In fact, some people use a razor blade. The ones, double-edged razor blades, old-fashioned. So I put it in here. We're going to put the lid on. And And we're going to put it back in the oven for half an hour at 450. So half an hour at 450 with the lid on, and then in about half hour we'll come back, we'll remove the lid, give you a bird's eye view of the bread, and then continue the final cooking thereafter. So be right back. Alright, so it's been a half hour now. I'm going to remove the lid. So you can see the bread is risen, the cracks are well exposed and shows a good color. But now the last 20 minutes or so, uncovered, and it'll go from golden brown to a nice dark brown, and the crust is going to form, and we're going to have a look at it in about 20 minutes. Alright, we're back. Another 20 minutes without the lid. Let's have a look. There we go. This comes out very easily. Oh. Just let it cool off on the rack. And hopefully I have enough patience to wait for it to cool down. Nice and hollow sounding. We're going to come back and we're going to enjoy it in about, I would say, half hour to 40 minutes. See you. Alright, we're back. Finally it's cooled down enough. It's been about an hour or so. So again, you can see that it's very hollow sounding. So let's have a listen. There we go. Not bad for a basic recipe. Not too much work. A little bit of folding. And that's it. Nice, good crunch. I could have left it in, probably should have left it in another 5 or 10 minutes, a total of an hour. I did it 50 minutes. It is cooked. It's got a good crust, but we're going to give it a sample. I keep coming back to this recipe. Cheers. Hope you try it. It's a simple recipe, something that everybody can do, and keeps you busy during these crazy times. So stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, and we're going to get through this all together. Take care. See you soon.